Hey, everybody. I think we're live. I think we are on. Let me know in the chat if you are on with me this afternoon, or maybe you're somewhere else in Australia and it is this morning. Love to hear from you, where you're from, where you're tuning in from, and be great to be able to get an idea of how many are going to be on the line with us today. We're going to talk around coaching, so actually talking to coaches and leaders who are using the coaching skills. So it will be, really good to be able to hear from people. You'll notice on the chat on the side, if I just say hi here, hopefully there'll be a few people that can get an idea, so I can get an idea of who is actually online with me today. It'd be good to see a few people on. Looking forward to being able to talk about coaching and particularly around coaching in these times, because it really is an unprecedented time. And that feels like the word of the moment, isn't it? Or word of this year is unprecedented. We have gone through the most incredible first quarter of 2020. And it really is one of the bizarre moments. You know, who would have thought that in March or end of March and April 2020, most of us would probably be sitting here online. We've got our shirts on at the top, but we've got our PJs and stuff underneath. So anyone got their slippers on today? Anyone got their leggings on or their tracky pants underneath? And yet they've got the shirt and tie that's actually happening on the top there. I'd love to hear if anyone's actually wearing that today, as I am. I've got my comfy socks on to be able to keep my toes warm, even though it is a beautiful sunny day today. But I want to talk to you today about particularly around coaching and how do you actually coach within this season? How do you coach when effectively our people are in crisis? The people that we're leading, the people that we're trying to minister to in this crisis space. So I'm going to talk you through some particular aspects of the coach model, which is the model that we use by Keith Webb. Great book here, good promo for you, Keith. If you haven't got this book, I encourage you, jump on, get it online. You can download it automatically or you can get it posted to you. But this is the coaching model that we use here at CCI. And so I particularly want to chat to you today around some changes that actually happen when you use coaching online, and then some changes again that happen when we hit crisis moments and how that actually changes our interactions with people. So when you think around face-to-face coaching, what we find is the connect part of our coaching, generally in a 60-minute coaching session is probably around about, 4 minutes, around 7% of our coaching conversation. Then we look around outcome, and the outcome, kind of working out what am I actually going to talk about today, or what is the coachee going to talk about today, is around about 12 minutes, about 20% of the conversation. Moving to awareness, it's the bulk of the time. It's about 25, 28 minutes, around 45% of the conversation. Course of action, otherwise known as action steps, sits around 12 minutes, around 20% of the conversation. And then the final part is obviously highlights, what is the takeaway that people have from the conversation today. Sits at around 4 minutes and about 7% of the conversation. However, when you move your coaching online, some of those times and percentages change, particularly in relation to connect. That actually increases. You need to spend more time connecting with your coachees, with your leaders when you're doing online coaching. So you want to increase that to about 6 minutes rather from 4. So you're up about 10% from 4 minutes. But you'll also probably find yourself reducing the amount in the outcome. Actually, what do they want to talk about today will probably decrease from about, say, 12 minutes to about 10 minutes. So a decrease to about 17%. Because often people come to an online conversation and they've thought about that a fair bit more. However, there are some big changes when we change from being online, and then you add a crisis moment to that, there are some greater changes to our coaching, and particularly around the timing of our coaching. And so what you'll notice is that the connection time, so that connect right at the start of your coaching conversation, will increase significantly. And probably it's going to increase about double. So close to about 10 minutes of your coaching session is actually going to be around a connection time. And that's going to be both ways, because not only will you be checking in with your coachees or your leaders, but they will actually want to check in with you. How are you going? What's happening in your world as well? So you'll notice that the connect part of your coaching, the timing of that will significantly increase. You may notice a decrease in the outcome sections of your coaching, as people kind of have a pretty clear idea. Actually, I know what I need to talk through because I've got a problem that I need to actually figure out. But what you will find is that you'll probably spend a fair bit of time in awareness, much longer than you've ever spent before, probably about 50% of your conversation or more in your conversation. And it might be actually really hard to land some action steps to kind of work out, how do I help my client to land this, or my coachee or my leader to land this? And the reality is it's actually about our brain. Now, I'm not a scientist or an expert in the brain by any stretch, but let me give you a little bit of a normal person, or my idea of understanding the brain, and particularly how the brain reacts in certain times. So our brain has three major parts to it. The reptile brain, the fight, flight, freeze section, it's in major overdrive right now, right? Everyone is a threat to us. Now, there's a whole nother concept on that, that social has suddenly become a threat to humanity. Like every person around the place is a threat. It's like it does my head in with this. So the first part is around reptile brain. The second part is the limbic system, which is our emotions, our empathy, our feeling. And the third part is our neocortex, or our executive brain. It's the part that actually helps us to make decisions, problem solving. What happens in crisis, and what we're living right now is a crisis. When we're under threat, our executive brain actually dims. It begins to shut down. And that's really important when you've got a lion or a tiger chasing you. You just need to get out of there. But as a leader, it's really frustrating when your executive brain shuts down right at the moment that you actually need it to work. But it's just part of our biology. It also probably explains why people went into overdrive in buying toilet paper. Like, you think, where's the rational thought in selling out of toilet paper? The reality is that people felt threatened. They felt that their life was at stake in their brain, and the rational part of their brain shuts down in threat. All of us, that's how that works. We may not have all rushed out and bought toilet paper, but we've probably coped in different ways about doing things like that. So people begin to make decisions based on emotions and their safety rather than rational problem-solving decisions. So when our world is in crisis and our people feel threatened, even if people aren't admitting it, we're on high alert. We're on high alert all the time. Just going to the supermarket is stressful. And as coaches or leaders using coaching skills, we need to actually allow time for our coachees to sit longer in the awareness space, to give them time to process thoughts and ideas, options and challenges, to help them to dream and imagine and bring hope, and actually to begin to help them to relax and allow some of those thoughts to kind of bubble to the surface. So don't rush your awareness part of your coaching in this time. Allow people to explore that fully. Some great questions to use in the awareness phase of your coaching right now is helping people to see outside of themselves. So things like, what might their boss think, their spouse think, their friends think around this, or what might they say to them around this? those of you who've been in my training have probably heard me say this question: what would the wisest leader that you know say? What advice would they give to you? It helps them to get outside of themselves. It might be a question like, what is God saying to you? Or who can you ask for help? Who might know about this? Getting your coaches or your leaders to actually see outside of themselves in this season. But also expect a lot of, I don't know. And those of you who have been coached by me will know that I don't let people get away with I don't know. And especially in this time, don't allow people to get away with I don't know. Or more, don't jump to the rescue. Don't jump in and kind of go, oh, I need to give them advice to actually help them out of this situation. It's actually even more important that we allow people to explore and source their own thoughts and ideas in this season, giving them back control in an uncontrollable situation. Don't be tempted to give advice in this season in your coaching, but posture yourself as someone who is choosing to allow the other person to explore, to unpack their thoughts and ideas, and make sure that they are in control of the coaching conversation. Posture yourself before the call to make sure that you are a non-anxious presence. Breathe, relax, pray. Make sure you give yourself plenty of time beforehand so that you can actually serve your coachees really well. And it's really important in this time that as Christian leaders, it's important that you get coaching yourself. Don't just be the one that's giving out and coaching others, or a leader using coaching skills in these times, but actually to take the time to be coached yourself, explore those ideas and problem solve with somebody else in this season. What we have launched in this season is an extra coach mastery class, because we realized that a whole heap of leaders are wanting to upskill and dive in deeper as to what does it mean to coach my leaders in this season. So we've got an extra coach mastery course, our certification program, actually starting on April 29th. It is all online, as it has been for the last couple of years. So we've been using Zoom for years here at CCI in order that we can reach people all across Australia, actually all across the world. We've had incredible students from all across the world. So if that's something that you're interested in, jump onto our website, christiancoachinginstitute.com.au, or put a comment on this link here, and me or one of the team will get back to you and give you the information that you need. We'd love to be able to see you on our Coach Mastery class if that's something that's really beneficial to you in this season. We're going to do this Facebook Live weekly. From next week, it'll be Tuesdays at 1 o'clock. And I'm just going to jump on, and sometimes it'll be just me, and other times I'm going to bring guests in to be able to help us as coaches and leaders using coaching skills to be able to navigate this really bizarre season, but yet still develop our people so that we can make a kingdom impact. Hope this has been a blessing and a benefit to you, and see you on Tuesday at 1 o'clock. See ya.